Okay, what's up, YouTubers? This is your guy, Mr. Evaluator. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be overgoing a giant big battle royale with 12 people, all from the Marvel and DC universe, challenging each other in one of the biggest and greatest fights. And what we're going to be sticking here with today, as usual, the common basis of everybody's power. What are their capabilities? And so before we continue, if you have any questions or concerns, or any comments, leave it below. It's really a must for you guys to really understand how their powers work and what are their capabilities, so that you can literally understand the whole concept of that character. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and jump into battle with Raven and Mozzie King. Okay, so I'm not too familiar with her because well, it's either pronounced Mozzie King or Mozzie King or Maisie King. Well, I'm not sure, but anyways, she's these two go into battle. So before I start with Raven, I'm going to start with Mozzie King. Mozzie King is the daughter of Lucifer, Morningstar, who pretty much, the original story, was cast out and he decided to have a daughter from another woman, pretty much like Trigon and Arella. So, Trigon and Arella. So now he bore a daughter, and without her recognizing her father, she stabbed him in the hand. I'm pretty sure that's big of a deal, according to the DC Comics. So eventually, as she grows older, she manages to tank a hug from possibly a death angel, I'm assuming, or just an angel who has a immense amount of power, who is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, okay? She manages to take a hug from her, but in this case of scenario, it doesn't look like that she's being attacked by her whatsoever. But I'm just gonna stick with the highball. Let's just say she take a hug from that angel, okay? And pretty much she's everything Lucifer is, okay? And literally she was given to the power to be the queen of hell, of all she has accomplished, because she's literally almost as strong as Lucifer himself. So in this case, usually it's always the hybrids, the mixed races and stuff. So in this case, it kind of leaves her with nothing but darkness, okay? In this case, in this battle, it's nothing but darkness in between Raven and Mozzie King. Now, here's the situation with Raven. We all know that she was born on Azarath, and Trigon was formed from the thoughts of darkness, the dark thoughts and the dark imaginations, of the people on Azarath. And he became the literal embodiment of evil, which basically even also him having that capability of absorbing other evil and becoming the level of power of that evil literally makes him beyond the concept of evil and darkness himself. So in this scenario, being the daughter of a father who is made above the concept of darkness and evil gives her the power to, as shown many times, that she's able to cage her father in prison. She's able to overpower her father, when she gets angry, literally. And she also has the power to even literally resist the power of her father and from being compelled. This is wow. Raven, in this context, would literally be the queen of dark matter. She would literally be the queen of dark matter. She has the power to control and literally balance darkness. Okay? She can literally balance darkness. She can weigh darkness. Okay? She can literally weigh darkness. And this simply comes from the concept of pretty much always throwing her father in prison, like always overpowering her father, like, you know, and the only way for him to get out is either he's keep bothering her, getting on her nerves. There's no other way for him to escape. And she holds her father, her powerful father, who has conquered multiverses. Now, it was said that Lucifer himself can conquer macroverses, you know, a whole bunch of macroverses, but it really in this case, you know, Trigon beats him because he's made of nothing but evil and darkness. Lucifer, the morning star, was not made up of, he's just basically a good guy that turned evil, and now he has the power because literally he was into the presence of being omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. So now that him having all three of those powers, this guy went bad with that power and had a daughter. So she is half of what he is. But the thing with Raven is that she has a father that is beyond that concept. Lucifer is not beyond that concept. He isn't. He isn't beyond that concept. He's within the concept of evil. Trigon is beyond the concept of evil in this scenario. And she has the power to balance and cage and even overpower her own father. So in this case, of all Mozzie King has accomplished, Raven wipes her out. Okay? Raven wipes her out with pure rage. And in this case, she basically drains the dark matter, the dark magic, the dark fire out of her and just do away with it. Or possibly render that power to an alternative realm. Like, literally. There is no way that Mozzie King will match Raven, especially if she's angry. What happens if Raven actually gets angry? Well, sometimes she loses control of her power, and she takes on the form of her father, which is even more powerful. In this case, she'd be times the power she was when she takes the human form. Like, this is just so unbelievable. Raven has minds. Like, she is basically the key to defeating Trigon, literally. But Mozzie King is not the key to defeating Lucifer. You could just defeat Lucifer. She isn't the key to defeat Lucifer, even though she's more powerful, even though she's more possibly stronger than Lucifer, but she's not the key to defeating Lucifer. You have to go up to him yourself and defeat him. But for Trigon cannot be defeated if you don't use Raven or have the likenesses of Raven. So in this case, Raven overpowers and even throws Mozzie King and Lucifer out. She just bonds them out with straight darkness. And because her father is beyond the concept of evil, that literally, and by her overpowering her father, she is beyond the concept as well. Raven literally has the power of darkness, and this darkness is basically, by her having the power to balance darkness and evil, because of what she could do with her father, that literally puts her above the idea of darkness and evil. And in this case, she literally slaughters Mozzie King, and this is literally no good. Okay, it's no good. She just slaughters this girl. Okay. Okay, like blitz her out. And there's no challenge after that. Okay, so on to the next fight. Lucifer All Out versus Trigon. Okay, so this is going to be a quick fight. So let's just say Lucifer is using his top power, and at his max he has the power to pretty much, let's just say, destroy Macroverses. Okay, because literally in this case he's omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. But with Trigon, okay, being beyond the concept of evil and without the likenesses of Raven, like his power is immeasurable. Lucifer's power is literally immeasurable, but him being all out, like he's at his top peak, I'll just say Lucifer Morningstar at his top peak has the power to destroy creation. Okay, he has the power to destroy creation. Let's just for the sake of that, we're giving him a highball. He has the power to basically destroy authors themselves. Okay, characters that destroy other fictional characters. But in this case, because of Trigon's capability, he gives Lucifer these dark thoughts. Lucifer is made up of, he was a good guy and went bad, okay, according to the DC Comics. And being this used to be Angel, he's pretty much the DC's version of being the one and only greatest deceivers. And having thoughts like this basically fuels Trigon for power and literally makes him even more powerful. Okay, so we saw what he's done with the Heart of Darkness. Him absorbing the darkness in Lucifer's mind, well, not even in his mind, in his well-being. Trigon will literally drain Lucifer of his power. But in this case, let's just say Lucifer erases Trigon from existence. Because Lucifer is evil, because Lucifer is dark, Trigon becomes reincarnated and basically comes back. And in this case of him coming back because of the evil that is in him, he pretty much merges with the power Lucifer has and basically drains it all from him and become 10 times the power Lucifer has, and even more. And in this case, it puts him beyond the idea of being omnipotent. It literally puts Trigon beyond the idea of omnipotence, of omniscient and omnipresent. So he will literally take this, because Lucifer going all out, having the power to destroy authors and having the power to erase, like literally, because of the capability he has, Lucifer going all out is pretty much energy, dark energy given to Trigon. And this battle, Trigon takes all of this power, absorb all of this power. Let's just say that Lucifer was beyond the whole idea of what it was to be evil. In this case, because of that capability, like, Trigon demolishes Lucifer, the Morningstar. He does it. He takes it from him, and he will take his throne and kill his daughter and basically absorb all of the darkness therein. All of it. He absorbed every bit of it. And as I said from the beginning, he will be beyond the idea of omnipotent. omnipotent. Now, if Lucifer had the power to absorb evil, then yeah. But in this case, Lucifer going out has the power to create evil. He can create evil, but it really, because he's omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, and he could basically literally create evil itself. Evil itself. So in this case, Trigon, knowing this, only act as if Lucifer is beating him. So once the evil that is in him is emerged, Trigon absorbs that power and basically drains it out of him. So he becomes the power Lucifer was, plus the power he already has. Excuse the guard. Plus the power Trigon already has, and the power Lucifer. Yeah. So basically, bear with me. So he has the power, okay, like that, and Trigon basically just sucks that evil out of him and takes the power, the evil that he has, and becomes the power Lucifer is. Okay, well, actually the power Lucifer was, plus what he already is, what Trigon already is. So in this case, Lucifer Morningstar is done. He is literally done because of that capability. If he did not have that capability, then Lucifer just erases him with no problem. But because of that capability, he's way beyond Lucifer. In this case, it will make Trigon omnipotent, beyond the idea of omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. And he'd be unstoppable, if not the likes of Raven, because she's the key concept. And again, she's way more powerful than her father. So in this scenario, if he was to come back with all of that power, like, let's just say he felt the need that he didn't need Raven. Raven again can balance darkness. So the darkness that is in her father, she will literally balance that father, and she'll literally balance the darkness in her father and literally be equal to him. Like literally. And she will emerge that darkness that is in him and turn it into light, and it'll destroy Trigon. And he's done. Okay? So in this case, Trigon beats Lucifer. Trigon beats Lucifer and just take him out. Drain all the evil out of him, become the power he is, plus what Trigon already had. Okay? So this one, in this battle, Trigon beats Lucifer. On to the next battle. Lobo and Wonder Woman. This is a very intensive battle. Okay? This guy is literally... Lobo doesn't hold back. This guy's giving it his all. Okay? And in this case, Wonder Woman is pretty much an Amazon. And these Amazons are trained to fight gods, to fight literal gods, man, to literally fight, to literally fight gods, okay? But they were not trained good enough to, fight against Trigon. But I'm just gonna push that aside for now. And then in this case, these two go into battle. They were made to fight gods, and pretty much Lobo is immortal. Okay, so yeah, he can't be shot by bullets. He is super strong, super powerful. He's a little bit faster, but in one of the Justice League movies, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, he blew himself up to millions of pieces, and he pretty much came back and regenerated, But at this case, he kind of toys around with Wonder Woman until she gets serious. So in this case, Wonder Woman knows at this battle she's gonna have to blitz this guy. She's gonna have to give it his all. She's gonna have to give her all. And pretty much when she does, you know, at this point, so we're gonna go with the common basis of this before I continue. Lobo is basically an immortal, and he's from another part of the realm of reality where death doesn't basically exist. But he has taken on a lot of beatings from other characters. Okay, so even if you do think that you could possibly erase him from existence, I really think that the content of Lobo is really pretty much far more than just being erased, because the reality he's from, if you think that you could just pretty much erase that reality, like, it wouldn't exist to him. So just for the sake of that, I don't want to say that because I'm not sure. I really didn't get too much into Lobo, but I do know that Lobo can beat up Superman and can take a lot of his punches when he is holding back, but severely. In this case, you know, Wonder Woman doesn't hold back, and she pretty much has, you know, speed beyond. She literally has like speed beyond Flash. No, I take that back. No, she literally basically has speed equal to Superman. So in this case, she will flip Lobo off of his mind. Okay, Lobo does not have that kind of speed. I mean, yes, he can pack one of the biggest punches in history. Okay, he used all kinds of guns, and in fact, you know, he gets around with all sorts of machines and equipment and stuff. But he's not the greatest strategist. So if he was to fight Wonder Woman hand on, she's gonna come at him full throttle. Okay, he's not gonna be able to handle her speed. He won't be able to, well, the best thing he could possibly do, he's strong enough to literally take Wonder Woman and kind of really break her arm. He's strong enough to do that. He's even strong enough to kind of put her bracelets together and make her lose all of her magic. But in this case, Wonder Woman does not give Lobo no chance. She does not give him no time. In this case, Wonder Woman is going all out. So in this, he will not be able to match her speed. He's not going to be able to match the force she's hitting him with. And what I mean by the force she's hitting him with, giving her all, like, the amount of power she's hitting him with is a type of strength she prayed from Hera, and Hera kind of increases Wonder Woman's power in her fist. It'll literally feel like that every punch she throws at Lobo will be like a giant planet was thrown at him. Like, Wonder Woman can increase her strength to that level, and she too can put craters in planets. Okay, she definitely can do that. So even at her top speed, she'd be strong enough to kind of to swing at Lobo. And without him, you know, matching her speed, and you know, quick enough to matching her strength, she really gives Lobo no time, and she takes him out as quick as possible. Literally. Like, in this battle, Wonder Woman knows that she gives Lobo no time. And if he does become trouble, she kind of wraps that rope onto him and she throws him into the galaxy. But in this case, let's just say that, you know, he calls his motorcycle and bam, it gets her. So now she's really gonna pray to Hera to give her the strength of the entire solar system. Okay? And that strength is going to be given to her, and she's going to one-shot Lobo throughout the galaxy. And when she does that, she's gonna make sure she hits Lobo so hard. She's gonna hit Lobo from the planet and make sure he never returns and comes back. So in this case, she's gonna blitz him. She's gonna pray to Hera to give her the strength of the galaxy, of the solar system, beyond Lobo's strength, and just pow him out of the galaxy. I mean, because Lobo does have all kind of weaponries and all kinds of stuff, but in this case, Wonder Woman cannot let back. She cannot give Lobo no chance. She can't. So in this case, she's going all out, and she's going to increase her strength to the power of the solar system, and she's gonna backslap this guy. Well, no, not backslap him. She's going to punch this guy, uppercut him out of the solar system with his bike. And pretty much, when she does that, Wonder Woman is known for, magic, using magic. She pretty much puts a spell. She pretty much even hacks a spell on him, so that he wouldn't return. So in this physical hand-to-hand fight, in this brawl in between Wonder Woman and Lobo, it's gonna be given to Wonder Woman, because she knows that she's not gonna take any chances with Lobo, because if she does, in this case, Lobo beats Wonder Woman. Okay? Yeah. In this case, Lobo beats Wonder Woman. So, in this fight, she cannot give him, knowing Wonder Woman, knowing her characteristics, she gives Lobo no chance. She gives him no chance. And she goes all out. Let's say she never knew who Lobo was. The minute she toys around, as she always does, and see his actual strength, and she gets hurt, she's gonna be like, okay, I can't play with this guy. She's going all out. And when she sees as serious as it's getting, she's going to increase her strength to the power of the solar system or galaxy or near the universe, and just uppercut Lobo on his motorcycle, space bicycle, out of the solar system, and pretty much cast a spell on him so he won't return. In this case, this fight is going to Wonder Woman for the sake of her not taking any chances, because if she does, this fight will be to Lobo. So, again, in this battle, Wonder Woman beats Lobo because the common basis of her power, of her character, she's not taking any chances with this guy. So she's not going to have no other choice but to go all out and hit this guy with her maximum strength and make sure he never returns back, because in her mind, she knows that if he gets a hold of her, he's going to get her. So, hopefully, when he does grab her, she prays to Hera to give her the strength close to the universe. She breaks free through the power of Hera and hits this guy throughout the solar system, out of the galaxy, and swing that bike with him. And like I said, cast a spell so he don't ever return. So in this case, this battle goes straight to Wonder Woman, because she's not taking any chances with Lobo. And it ends off with her characteristics. She's not going to take any chances. She's not going to toy around with this guy, because he is literally nobody to toy around with, unless you're somebody like Goku or Vegeta. Okay, on to the next battle. Okay, in this fight, we have Batman and Scarlet Witch. Okay, unlike the Punisher, the Scarlet Witch is one of the greatest, most bestest fighters, mercenaries, man, throughout the whole MCU. Unlike the Punisher, the scene with the Russian guy when he knocked on a door and punched Punisher in the face, that fight didn't go too well, but he still did come out on top. Now, according to the comics, you know, Frank Castle is pretty much an FBI guy. His whole family was slaughtered and he came back with vengeance. I'm sure if that happened to Widow, I mean, she murdered all of those guys in 2 days because her skill outmaxes the Punisher. And I mean, she's trained in one of the worst and most terriblest conditions anybody could ever go through. Now, and not only that, I hate using feats, but she was also trained and taught by Captain America, who was trained by the best, you know, of the best, and literally became the best. But as far as her strategies go, she isn't one of the greatest strategies. I mean, she's not a strategist at all. But when it comes to shootouts, when it comes to physical hand-to-hand combat, she's a murderer. She is a literal murderer. Like, there's one in too many times that the bad guy has Widow at the edge of the cliff, and no little to 3 seconds, she knocked all the guys out, okay, took them out, and have the main guy hanging at the edge of the cliff. That's how good she is. This girl is literally unbelievable. She surpasses even as far as aiming, as far as, you know, Hawkeye's aiming, she is one of the greatest gun users and, you know, strategic fighters throughout all the MCU. Okay, she's not the best strategist, but in this case, she's better than the Punisher. She's better than Wolverine. She's way better than Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool is as good as he gets. You know, he's one of the, you know, greatest guys. Well, not the greatest guys, he's just one of the ordinary mercenaries that became a mutant. But this girl, not being a mutant, outclasses Deadpool. Literally, she outclasses Deadpool. In this case, she definitely gives Talia Raja Ghul a run for her money. Okay? She gives Talia Raja Ghul a run for her money. And I mean, as strategic, as good as Batwoman is, I mean, yeah, she's real good. But in this battle, she's not fighting Batwoman, she's fighting Batman. And as I confirmed in the beginning, Batman is not your everyday, he's not your everyday regular fighter. This guy fights with strategic methods. On top of that, he is DC's one and only greatest tactical and strategist, man. This guy will literally make Widow look crazy, bro. Like, literally. As far as him throwing these battle reins, as far as her using her guns, he basically leaves her options. He's not even going to attempt to use, Batman doesn't even need to use her best moves. In this case, knowing her, he's going to throw a diversion on her. And it's not going to be no physical hand-to-hand fight. He's going to throw a smoke repellent. And the only thing she's going to do is she's going to prepare whatever moves or whatever Batman does. But more than likely, he uses that smoke repellent to show her a diversion, okay? And the minute he gets her to see him, well, in this case, let's just say she starts shooting. The minute she starts shooting, Batman throws a battle ring and it'll knock it out of her hand. Okay, as good as she is, right, she's not good enough to fight Batman. I'm sorry, she isn't good enough to fight Batman. And, like, don't even talk about no physical hand-to-hand combat, because in this case, he don't need to study this girl. Widow will pretty much be like, to Batman, it'll pretty much be like Batgirl. She'd literally be like a Batgirl to him. Okay? Well, let's take it all down. Let's take it a little up. She'd pretty much be like Batwoman. Okay? As good as Batwoman is, you know, who basically stood toe-to-toe and fought Slade. Widow is not strong enough, not fast enough, and not quick enough to fight Slade Wilson. He'd end her. He will literally end her. And in this case, her fighting Batman, just in a physical hand-to-hand combat, I've already told you what he do. He takes basic moves like Wing Chun. He has martial arts. Okay, it's like he takes one move in Wing Chun, one move in boxing, and one move in wrestling. And he mixed those moves and they become a new combination. They become a new fight. It becomes a new fighting style. And as he's using this, he's using Wing Chun, the stance, and another two moves behind him to use for diversion so that he could hit her with another move. In this case, she doesn't stand a chance against Batman. Now, as far as long range, okay, let's just say she's gonna shoot at Batman. Of course, Batman in his armor suit, you know, not trying to get hit by bullets, dodging those bullets, Batman throws a batarang just to stir a diversion. And so she shoots the batarang as he wants her to, and right without her realizing it, he throws another one, and it falls out of her hand. Let's say it doesn't fall out of her hand. He throws a second diversion, and it quickly blinds her. And right before you know it, he just shoots her with another grapple gun and takes her out. I mean, clearly, in this case, Widow will not fight Batman in close combat once she realizes how good he is. So in this case, if they were to fight in hand-to-hand combat, she knows that this guy isn't nobody to joke with, okay? So she has no other option but to hit this guy from long range. But that wouldn't do her any good because Batman has trained to fight against opponents with long range. So he begins his strategic plan for this girl. So he begins his contingency plan. So right now, in this case, Batman needs to make her lose her mind. In other words, Batman will need her to go all out on him, okay? And going all out on him will be another diversion for her so he can sneak up behind her and take her down. Batman has mastered over 127 martial arts fighting styles. And not only that, Batman has also trained with Ra's al Ghul and has learned the abilities and the whole concept of what it means to be a ninja, what it means to study and learn like a ninja. So in this case, like literally, as far as the physical combat goes, I don't mean that she will beat Batwoman by giving her a run for her money. It also meant that when she fights Talia al Ghul, like, she would literally flip her over. Like, I'm not saying Widow will flip her over, but Talia will flip her over. Because, like, if she starts the long-range shooting, she's gonna take her out. But in this case, like, Talia al Ghul is not like Batman. So she'd be looking to kill her. So in this case, with her fighting Batman from a long range, because now she understands that she can't fight this guy hand in hand, she's gonna try a long range. Now, as good as she is, she has no plan or no other way to come up to take Batman down, because in her mind, fighting Batman is pretty confusing and she has nothing else to back her up. So just for the time, just until she thinks of what she can do, she is going to shoot from a long range Okay? Exactly what Batman wants her to do. So now, as he planned this, now she's shooting at him from a long range. He gets at a certain position in a certain angle. While she's shooting at him, he's throwing these diversions and then using these smoke pellets. Now he got her in a stance. So in her mind, while she's occupying him, trying to come up with a solution to taking this guy down, taking Batman down, in her head, so occupying him by just shooting at him, she thinks he's in a corner where he last jumped to. When the whole time he shot at her, she was shooting at him, throwing the smoke repellents, he dropped purposely his grapple gun exactly where he wanted her to be. And so just before she looks at the grapple gun on the ground, thinking he sat right there, and being distracted, Batman gets her. And in this case, Batman gets her. And so she tries to use those, so she tries to reverse that. Batman counters whatever she does. So he grabs her from behind. She tries to reverse that. He wrestles her and tosses her to the ground and pretty much penalizes her, and like severely damage her equipment. So she can't do anything. And in this scenario, Batman beats her. Okay? Batman beats her. Like, seriously. Like, and in that case, he comes on the ground and handcuffs her, and she tries to interject, so he uses another chain and handcuffs that chain to her leg, and she tries to shoot him, but she misses, and he handcuffs her around her legs and around her arm. So he pushes her on the ground, and now she's tangled in handcuffs. Now she's tangled in handcuffs because he got her. She's tangled in handcuffs. So in this case, Batman takes it home. Now, personally, this is just a bonus. Someone has asked, would Widow ever find out Batman's identity if she dated Bruce Wayne? In this case, knowing how handsome and attractive Bruce Wayne is, and knowing how much, and knowing how, sneaky, because really, Scarlet is a fox. Well, not Scarlet. Widow is a fox. So knowing how sneaky she is, Batman begins to, we already know Batman, Bruce Wayne doesn't trust anybody. Okay? So just when she thinks that she will follow him, just when she thinks that she has Bruce Wayne has already caught up with her. So there will be no case if she does find out Bruce Wayne is Batman. Bruce Wayne be done already had so much of stuff on her. He be done had so much. Bruce Wayne would have known so much about her than her discovering he's the actual Batman. So by the time she figures that out, he'd already know so much about her than her knowing him being the Batman. So this is a very fast diversion of how Bruce Wayne basically works, and this is his character. So she tries to sneak her way in to Bruce and it doesn't work because he's been with a lot of sneaky women, and Selina Kyle is one of them. So in this case, she doesn't ever find out. And if she does, he winds up confusing her and pretty much making her think that Bruce Wayne and Batman are totally two different people. So in this case, she'll think she had it all figured out, like she assumed she would, but she wouldn't. She definitely wouldn't. And also, if she ever got in a fight with Selena Kyle and Catwoman would definitely beat her because she is just as she is just as quick and just as foxy. She is just as acrobatic as Widow is. So basically, it'll be like Catwoman is like 3 times. She's literally 3 times. She also has the ability of a natural cat. She has the ability like cat. So she is 3 times, Widow. Black Widow. She's 3 times Black Widow. And not to mention, she's a master thief. A mastermind thief. So in this case, a lot of people have found out, but it was at the last minute. So if she was gonna ever bust, Catwoman or Selena Kyle for any crime, it'll take a while. So by the time, as good as she is, by the time she finds out, it'd be already gone down the drain. Because if she was going to stop a robbing bank in progress, she's not going to be fast enough to catch Selena Kyle. And by the time Selena Kyle went in there, it'll be the last moment she realized she took something. So in this case, Selena Kyle is so good, she would literally make, as good as Widow is, she will literally make her seem like she's just an average CIA agent, director of the CIA, who basically Scarlet basically the director of the CIA. Scarlet will pretty much to Catwoman be like the director of the CIA. And being the director of the CIA, Catwoman winds up slipping their wallet without them noticing anything. In this case, Batman beats her, and she does not compare in any way to Catwoman at all. And even at her max, she doesn't even compare to Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, or pretty much, Batgirl. I mean, she will come close to Batgirl, but Batgirl's a genius. Batgirl has some lates, but we're going to continue on with the battle, so that's another topic to talk about. But in this case, Batman beats Widow, and Widow doesn't stand a chance. Long range or close combat, okay? In this case, brothers, we are talking about Darkseid and Starfire. Starfire was born from a warrior race. Okay, let's keep this in mind. She was born from a warrior race. Well, let's just give it a highball. The race was made to take on gods. Okay, and as strong as she is one of DC's. Well, she is one of the top 10. One of the top 10 DC's greatest warriors to ever fight. And whether you know it or not, Starfire will literally beat Thor, okay? But that'll be another topic, so you guys could just put a pin in that one. And we're just gonna get on this fight with Darkseid. Darkseid is literally too powerful for Starfire. I mean, this guy is times Superman, times Doomsday, times everything, bro. Like Darkseid, it literally took, well, sometimes Superman wind up fighting Darkseid by himself, but Darkseid is the best, and he's too powerful. We saw what happened. Well, I don't even want to use that, but I'm just gonna go and say it anyways. He saw the Justice League plan in Apocalypse War, so he prepared for that through Cyborg. But if he was to fight Kara, Supergirl, who is way stronger than Starfire, was getting kicked aside and beat on and thrown aside by Darkseid and clearly punched to sleep. But she really controls her power too, because she doesn't use the full force of her power as well. I mean, her and Clark Kent knows how to shrink the level of their power increase the level of their hearing. They do a lot of stuff. You know, Kryptonians are amazing. But in this case, Starfire fighting Darkseid, it's not going to happen. She's going to get demolished by the Omega beings. Darkseid is literally too powerful, too fast. At Starfire's max, she has the power. Those beams, she has the power to destroy an entire planet. This to Darkseid alone would be a joke. Okay, he'd probably use her to be one of his strongest soldiers in this case. But fighting him, long range or short range, like, no, it's not gonna happen. She gets demolished. Darkseid is literally too powerful. This guy, growing up, Darkseid took on Zeus and fought other gods. And I mean, even if she was to fight other gods, she wouldn't be strong enough to fight Darkseid. Because, again, Darkseid is literally times the power and strength of every member of the Justice League and strategies of every member of the Justice League. So, literally, Starfire fighting him would be like fighting all of the Justice League members at one time. And everybody is just attacking her at one time. She won't keep up with Darkseid. She literally, while he's literally, what will happen in this battle, Darkseid grabs Starfire, and just because of mercy, he throws her to the ground and puts his foot on her and say, "Be my soldier." And because knowing her Starfire, she pretty much rendered to Darkseid. And literally, Starfire is not stupid. Like, Starfire can literally sense the power of other beings. Like, I mean, well, let's just say this. In her full state of power, she is powerful. Okay? I'm not sure if she's galaxy level. Let's just say, for the sake of the conversation, she's galaxy level. It would not be enough to fight Darkseid. Darkseid would demolish her and Blackfire together. Okay? Like, Starfire does not stand a chance. Like, I mean, she gets beat up by Slade Wilson all the time. And that's one of the other Teen Titans members. Well, villains, you know. He's one of that's one of their worst villains. Starfire fighting Darkseid would be a joke. Darkseid would demolish her in this battle, if not kill her. He'd probably make her become one of his soldiers. So in this case, if she was to fight Darkseid, she'll throw a couple of blows, he'll toss them out of the way like mosquitoes, and she'll run away. She'll flee to go get help. So in this case, the battle is given to Darkseid because Starfire just forfeits the match to go get help. And he just stands there and waits until she gets enough of help so he can go and blow them up. So in this case, this match goes to Darkseid. Starfire doesn't stand a chance. Next battle. In this case, we're gonna put Bizarro and Doomsday. Okay, so Bizarro and Doomsday, like, I believe in an earlier video, I described, Bizarro fighting Trigon, and pretty much I told you, like, how powerful Bizarro really is. Bizarro can literally mimic everything Superman is and can do. Okay, like, he can basically increase his level of power, but let's just say Superman holds 10 times, 10% of his power back. Well, in this case, Bizarro is using the full 10% of this power. Okay, and battling Doomsday. Okay, these guys are going at it. Doomsday's gonna be like, Doomsday's gonna see this guy in his costume could possibly be whip off. Okay, so enough with the so literally, okay, so I'm just gonna get into the point. Doomsday is gonna fight. These two are gonna go into battle, and Bizarro is going to use whatever Superman holds back on. That's what Bizarro's gonna use. So let's just say, in this case, Superman is universal. All right, then that means Bizarro, and he holds back 100%, let's say 98% of his power. Bizarro will use the full 100% of his power against Bizarro. Or Bizarro's going to use the full 100% of his full power against Doomsday. And Doomsday is going to feel that crap, okay? And in this case, pretty much like Wonder Woman and Lobo, after him getting hit constantly and pounded by Bizarro, okay, so now the fight goes and escalates and it gets even harder. Bizarro is coming at him full force. Doomsday will know that this guy is nothing to joke with. So it'll leave him with the option to one-shot this guy, okay, one-shot this guy, and the fight is over with. But let me further go into details. So while Bizarro is using what Superman fully holds back on, he is pounding the mess out of Doomsday. But because of Doomsday's healing factor, every time Bizarro is not getting close enough to killing Doomsday, he realizes that Doomsday is getting used to his punches. Okay, so now he's going to increase the power of the solar system. Okay, and then he's going to go higher to the galaxy level. And literally before you know that, Bizarro is going to go universal against Doomsday. And apparently, in this case of scenario, Bizarro winds up killing Doomsday. Okay? He literally winds up killing Doomsday and taking him out because of the amount of power Superman holds back on, the amount of power he uses. And Doomsday, and this is happening consistently. So in this battle, this fight is definitely going to Bizarro because the amount of power he's going to use. But just for the sake of the conversation, the amount of power him using, if that amount of power he was using doesn't wind up killing Doomsday, then Doomsday is going to get used to that, and Bizarro's going to keep cranking up the notch. He's going to keep cranking up the notch. Let's just say he hit him hard enough where he knocked Doomsday out. He just knocked Doomsday out on the universal scale. So in this case, Doomsday wakes back up and he keeps fighting. So in this case, he's now used to universal blows. In this case, Bizarro is going to have to, in this case, now he knows how much power, now he knows how fast Bizarro is coming at him. So in this case, like I said from before, it leaves Doomsday no option but to one-shot Bizarro, okay? Because in this case, if he were to read power levels, he would have known from the beginning that Bizarro was coming at him full force. And from there, it would leave no option but for him to one-shot Bizarro, literally. But if these two come into battle, and he's not, well, actually, I think that Doomsday could read different life forms with power. So he's definitely going to read Kryptonian. So by the time he realizes how much power is being thrown against him, and how much power Bizarro is escalating, Doomsday is going to have to increase his power. And he's going to have to throw out on Bizarro. But at this time in this battle, Bizarro has already hit him to a universal scale. And so the thing is, in this context, what would it take for Bizarro to basically destroy Doomsday? He's gonna come up with whatever it takes. Whatever Superman holds back on, that's what he's using against Bizarro. And so, well, I mean, that's what he's using against Doomsday. And so, using that large amount of power, let's just say he charges at him full force, way much more than Bizarro does. Bizarro will pretty much wind up destroying the whole planet, killing, trying to destroy Doomsday, and he's gonna literally keep going at him. So by that time, you know, Bizarro and them, he done escalated his strength, and once he knows that, he took out Doomsday. So in this case, because of the amount of power he uses versus what Superman holds back on, he literally beats Doomsday. Literally. Okay? He literally beats Doomsday. And in this fight, he beats Doomsday. So this fight goes to Bizarro. But in this question, you may say, well, how much power does Doomsday use? Well, again, in this case, if Doomsday was to read a power, if Doomsday was to basically read Bizarro's power level and seeing how fast he was pretty much coming at him, that means Doomsday would have to get serious, dude. And like they'd be gonna destroy the whole planet, and like they'd be fighting in outer space, and Doomsday would have to probably literally one-shot Bizarro. But in this case, Bizarro, whatever power that Superman is literally holding back on, that's the power Bizarro is using on Doomsday. And Doomsday is really, and it's really gonna be a serious fight. Doomsday is literally, it's like this. Bizarro will blitz this guy, okay? He will blitz this guy so much. Like, Doomsday's not gonna, it's literally gonna be, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be overwhelming, but in this case, being blitzed and rushed like that would literally make Doomsday kind of push down Doomsday, like, without reading his power level. Like, it'll literally push Doomsday down, and like Doomsday won't have any chance to like prepare or equal Bizarro's strength, because Bizarro, every punch will get harder and harder and stronger and harder, and by that time Bizarro hitting him, he'd kill Doomsday. And so, but when Doomsday come back, Doomsday's gonna know and understand that this guy, I'm gonna have to one-shot him, because I don't know what type of power he's gonna come at. So in the first match, this goes to Bizarro. This fight literally goes to Bizarro, okay? Because of the amount of power he uses versus the power Superman holds back from. But in this case, Bizarro be done destroyed the whole planet, and he pretty much be done destroyed everything about possibly even the solar system. So in this case, the first match with Doomsday and Bizarro, Bizarro beats him. So in the second match, which is another topic, put a pin in that one. Doomsday beat understood what type of guy this is, so he probably in the second match one-shot Bizarro, and don't give him any chances, and he'd probably go out looking for Superman again to fight. But in this case, that's another story to talk about, so we're gonna put a pin in that one. In this match, this fight goes to Bizarro. This first match goes to Bizarro because of the amount of power he uses versus the power Superman holds back. Okay? It's like a big old surge. Superman holds 50% back, Bizarro used the full 100%. So in this case, this fight goes to Bizarro. Next battle. Haha, Raven and Hela. We are known to, well, actually, Hela was known to having powers being linked to death, or possibly becoming the goddess of death herself. And being on Asgard basically makes her even stronger and stronger and stronger. So, being the goddess of death says she's not the embodiment of death. Okay, she has a link to death. Let's give her a highball. Let's just say she is the embodiment of death. Now, in this case, of all she has done, we know that Trigon is the embodiment of darkness and evil. And when Raven is rageful, she takes on the form of her father. And again, she balances dark power. Now let's just say there is no darkness in death. There's no darkness in death. There's no limitations in, there's no evil or darkness in death. But however, Hela is evil. Okay? Hela is evil. And she has a passion for blood, a passion for conquering. In this case, Raven in her full form drains that energy out of her. Literally. You know when she says Azarath, Metreon, Centaurs, she's literally conjuring all the power in Azarath. Okay? She's literally conjuring all the power in Azarath and using it against her. In this case, Raven will be fighting Hela on her turf. Now, the longer Hela stays in Asgard, she's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, let's understand how deep Raven can go. Let's talk about the layers of her powers. We already have it that Raven can balance evil. She can balance darkness. Okay? And so, by Hela being this immortal goddess of death, clearly, Raven takes on the rageful form of her father and literally overpowers Hela. So you may wonder, how can Raven overpower Hela? By releasing her father? No, she doesn't have to release her father, because the same way she contains her father, the same way she can contain Hela. She can literally throw Hela and cage Hela in a prison inside a diamond in which she will hold in her bracelet. Why? Because again, she balances darkness and she balances evil. Like literally, she literally weighs it. So if she conjures all the power in Azarath and use it against Hela, let's just say it doesn't hurt Hela. It doesn't hurt Hela. But the thing is that this power from Azarath is like dark magic. And in this case, with Hela having the dark magic she has, and the spells, because she's also a spellcaster as well, the powers, like, I'm just gonna say the reason why it's not gonna work against Hela, not because she's the goddess of death, is because she pretty much conjure up the dead, and she has a link to death. So that means if Raven in her basic form conjures Azarath from a life point, yeah, from her human form, it's not gonna do anything to Hela because, excuse the helicopter, it's not gonna do anything to Hela because she's linked to death and she's only getting her in her flesh form. Now, keep in mind that Raven is also a demon. So when Raven takes on a demon form and she conjures up Azarath, she will literally rip the power and darkness out of Hela. She would do this because I told you she could weigh darkness. She can literally do this if she cages her father. She cages her father in a prison, in a diamond, which is inside her head. This is what she does, okay? And she can literally rip it out of her. She could do the same thing to her father, but she chooses not to because it's her father. So, in this case, Raven basically rips the darkness out of her, rips the evil out of her, sucks the life out of Hela while she's on Asgard. But she's doing this in her demon form. Now, you may ask, why would Raven's demon form? Why would her demon form take more effect to Hela? Because listen, Hela is linked to death. Let's just say she's the goddess of death. Raven, in her soul, is immortal. And in her true form, being immortal, she has the power to toss death aside. Literally, kick death aside. This will become a everyday thing for her and Trigon to do on a daily basis. Always dissing death and kicking death to the side. Literally. Raven can basically age herself. Raven can get old, she can get young, she can pretty much do anything she wants. Because she's clearly a demon. She can age her human form. You see what I'm saying? She can shrink her human. She can do a lot of stuff. So in this case, with her demon form taking more effect to Hela, because death does not phase Raven, and she will be attacking her not only in her demon form, but she's attacking her in a spiritual form as well. So being linked to death, she would rip Hela apart. Literally. We don't know what Surtur did with Hela. All we just saw was a giant sword, bam, being swung at her. That was it. So I'm not even gonna say that happened. It killed her. But just because of the evil and darkness she has in Raven's full true power, she will rip that out of Hela. Okay, she will literally rip that out of her. What's Hela's true form? Hela is literally in her true form. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't follow her too much, but it almost seemed like that she's omnipotent. Okay, and omniscient. But Raven in her demonic form balanced darkness and evil. So literally she is beyond the concept of darkness and evil. She's beyond the concept of order. So in this case, in her demon form, in her true form, which she takes after her father, that power, that darkness, that evil will be ripped from Hela. Literally. It'll be ripped from her, man. And pretty much like, I forgot the first girl's name, Ravenfall. Pretty much like her, she could just throw her power aside. In her demon form, take her power and throw her power aside. Like, literally. And, like, take all of her power, Hela's power, and throw it in another dimension. You know, she can literally conceal her. So in this case, if she didn't want to kill her, she'll shear her in a prison, okay? In a prison which she will hold in her amulet. She has the power to do these things, okay? So as far as doing this with the presence, I'm gonna have to do some more studying about that. But in this case, well, that's another topic to talk about. So we're gonna put a pin in that one too. So in this case, and the fire behind Raven pretty much represents, hell, and pretty much she's literally the demon in hell, okay? So the demon that can basically rip the evil out of Hela. Like, Hela in her true form, I believe she is way more powerful than Thor, okay? She'd be way more powerful than Thor herself. And she would literally be, in this case, way above death. So, because Raven has the power to strip evil and darkness, she can literally rip that out of Hela, this Hela, and basically send her powers elsewhere. In fact, like, she can summon a demon, pretty much the Heart of Darkness, and pretty much will eat the energy out of Hela. But let's just forget about that. Push that aside. In this form, the black aura is those powers in Azeroth. She can literally absorb all of the energy that is flowing through Hela, which basically gave her the ability to connect to death, to link to death. And she can just basically absorb that and become the opposite, the literal opposite of what Hela is. Raven can do a lot of stuff. She can absorb Superman and have his powers. Literally. She can absorb Superman and have his powers. As far as anything goes. So in this case, but can't, Hela do this to Raven? No, she can't. She's just a goddess of death that's basically death itself, and that's it. That's all she is. Omnipotent, omnipresent. She isn't beyond any concept. She's just a very powerful, very powerful person, character. That's pretty much it. But Raven can literally, with that black aura, absorb the power in her. Her human form isn't strong enough to do that. Probably a portion of her power, but in her demon form, she will absorb all the power inside Hela. And pretty much have that power for herself and replicate everything Hela does. Literally. And really put that power on top of her power and use it against Hela. But in this case, she'd know being on Asgard, it gives her power. So, so in that case, Asgard will become Raven's turf. And that'll be too OP, okay? Too OP. She would literally change the whole concept of Asgard. Change every structure and make it Azeroth. And being in her homeland, she is just as powerful in her human form as she is on anything else. So Hela will be hopeless fighting Raven in her homeland. Then Raven fighting Hela in her homeland on Asgard. Because with that power, she could just rip it out of her and throw it in another dimension. Or possibly throw it in hell. And basically conjure another demon and give that demon Hela's power. And Hela would pretty much, what happened to Hela after that? Hela would pretty much be drained. She'd be nothing. But Raven wouldn't just do that in her demon form. She'd leave her a little bit of power to live, but, she could basically absorb that power and be what she is and turn that whole place into Azeroth. And also, she can either rip that power out of her, as she would do with the first girl she did. So in this very first battle, Raven is too OP for Hela. Like, I really started thinking, well, Hela could put a giant sword in the knife through Raven, but Raven's soul is immortal. And so, if that goes to happen, she will become the demon form. Like, literally, she would transform into the demon form. Like, in this case, Raven always talks to her opponents. Do you really want this? Like, and if she have to, she'd probably release Trigon. Raven will release Trigon, and he can just absorb all the darkness and evil on in her, in Hela, and pretty much all the darkness, and become even more powerful. And then Raven would just send him back to the prison realm. Like, literally, there's multiple things that she can do. So in this case, either she rips the power out of her, throws it into another dimension, absorbs the power, and use that power and replicate what Hela is on top of Raven's power, and turn Asgard to Azarath and be even more powerful. Or, you know, she's just, or pretty much that's it. So in this case, because of what Raven can do, Raven is too OP in her true form. In her true form. But in her physical flesh form, in her human form, she do so much with Hela until Hela presses the buttons and allow that power to be ripped out of her and torn and tear her apart. So in this case, Raven's true form, she would literally eat Hela for breakfast in her demon's form. So yes, Raven is one of the strongest people of all time in her demon form. So in this case, this fight goes straight to Raven. Raven could summon giant beasts that can consume the power inside Hela. I mean, I already told you what she could do. She could rip it out of her, replicate her power, and turn Asgard into Azarath and be even more powerful. Like, in this case, Hela doesn't stand a chance. This fight goes straight to Raven. Next Battle Brawl. If you have any questions or comments, you guys can go straight to the comment section. Thor versus, what's this guy's name? Yeah, Thor versus the Apocalypse. This is going to be an easy battle. Okay, so as shown in the Marvel Comics and as shown in the movies, he basically needed to go around and steal powers from other mutants and, you know, pretty much get guardians, okay? And to have guardians to protect him so that he can have the ultimate power. So, really, technically, the Apocalypse was very vulnerable, okay? Very vulnerable. Even having a healing factor. So in this case, without him, this present Apocalypse with Professor X's powers and the healing factor power supposedly make him invincible, kind of gives Thor a very tough fight. Okay, even if Thor goes Rune King Thor. Like, I think that Rune King Thor is like the true god of lightning. He can just easily touch Thor and, like, you know, steal his powers. Or actually, he can't just go up to you and steal your powers. You know, he has to, you know, kind of, there has to be a trance. His power has to be tranced to you. And to this, Thor resists so much, like, the Apocalypse cannot keep up with him. Okay? And plus, he isn't worthy of Thor's. He isn't worthy of Odin's magic. Instead, because he's so evil, the magic would not work against him. So, in his form, without having Professor X's mind, pretty much just an ordinary healing factor, this guy destroys. Thor stomps the Apocalypse. He stomps him. And, like, literally just stomps him. So what if he used telepath powers against Thor? Thor is literally too powerful. In case he decides getting in Thor's head, Thor can just zap a big old bolt of lightning to shock himself with. And Thor would do that. I mean, he literally stood in the way from the sunlight so that blaze of beam could burn right through his body, filter his hammer. I don't got long, so I gotta hurry up with this. Pretty much like that. So in this case, Thor is like literally too OP. Okay, and like he can just throw his hammer at full speed, throw his hammer at the Apocalypse and just kill him dead. In case Apocalypse want to get in his mind, before that even happens, Thor at that speed will zap a bolt of lightning at himself and just shock himself consistently, which would pretty much disturb him being inside his mind, Apocalypse, and he can also make that lightning jump on him, the Apocalypse, and pretty much the Apocalypse gets shot to death. And pretty much, if he had the power to absorb that lightning, then he himself would probably become a god. But in this case, Thor, from what was shown, like, the Apocalypse have to have a transcendent powers. So somebody has to be protected, and they have to do some sort of ritual in order for him, because he can't just touch you and take your power from you. He could give you power, give you even more power. So in this case, he'd probably manipulate Thor. If he's weaker than that, Thor beats him. But if he has Professor X minds and that healing factor, and he's unstoppable, and the first mutant, freaking Thor will pretty much run away. Okay? In this battle, Thor would just run away to go get his max power. Okay, well, just forget that, because I was just thinking about something else. If he has Professor X mind and he tells Thor to bow down to him, pretty much like Thanos, Thor will use the biggest bolt of lightning. Okay? And pretty much the lightning he used will kind of zap the Apocalypse in his strong form and pretty much damage him, in case he decides having a fast regeneration healing cycle. Thor would already know at this case, Thor will attack Apocalypse at light speed. And at this case, even if Professor X's mind was equal to light speed, Thor would know he'd have to fly and fight faster than that. So Thor will go at his max speed, in this case fighting the Apocalypse at his strongest form with the hammer. He'd have to know he'd go at full speed, and fighting at his max speed, he'd have to take out the Apocalypse. So the minute these guys stand with each other, and him knowing what type of power he has, he'd literally blitz him. Thor would literally blitz him. When he sees that he has a regeneration health, he would literally hit him with the biggest bolt of lightning. Okay, consistently till the regeneration stops, and until he gets to the point to where it's really getting to him and Apocalypse is struggling with it. Thor will come at his full speed, his max, and blast Apocalypse. Bash his head with the hammer. Literally. Bash his head with the hammer and pretty much cut his head off. So Thor would be no other option than to cut his head off. And now, when he thinks that his head trying to come back on, and having that regeneration, Thor can just surge the biggest bolt of lightning through the hammer, and as he swings that hammer, that big old shock of lightning, as the hammer is going through, the axe is going through Apocalypse, the lightning is electrocuting him, shocking him, cooking him, and burning him as Thor slices his head off. So, and all of this will be done accurately. And the minute he looks like he's healing from it, Thor will repeat it again, but this time it'll be at a light speed. In Apocalypse, having Professor X's mind or Quicksilver's speed would not be faster than the speed Thor's going. So literally, Thor will go faster than light speed. He will use the lightning, right? Enhance the speed of the lightning faster than light. Well, he can't do that, but physically, he would literally attack this guy at light speed. Make sure that the lightning electrocutes him at light speed. Make sure the axe is literally burning through his body and slicing his cells to the molecule level at light speed. And with this being said, he just cuts off the Apocalypse head with the axe. So in this scenario, and also having his hammer, he pretty much bashes his head into the ground, you know, with the lightning, and make sure that the force of his swing is at light speed. That basically causes a friction so powerful, it does more than just put a giant crater in the planet. It literally puts a hole through the planet, like literally down into the ocean from the underground to out of the planet, like, and that's Thor's max, and that is way powerful. So in this case, for the sake of speed, Thor's fighting his max, and this battle goes to Thor, because by him understanding what type of person the Apocalypse is, he's going to have to battle. He's going to have to battle at light speed. By the time he understands what type of dude this is, he's going to have to take it at light speed. You know? So in this case, you know, Thor beats him. Okay? And even if Apocalypse had Magneto's power, and Magneto can control the hammer, not necessarily because Magneto isn't worthy of the hammer, so that will be one piece of metal. Well, let's just say Magneto is so-called worthy for the hammer, because Thor's literally the son of Odin, okay, and that he's been battling with that hammer, he will have more force, more strength, more power than on the hammer than Magneto has on the metal side. So literally trying to jerk the hammer, he will jerk Magneto's arm off and literally rip his body apart. So in case Apocalypse tries this, having that healing factor, he will do this on a light speed scale and just rip his body apart and continue electrocuting him at a light speed and make sure to get every molecule around him, so that he wouldn't come back. So in this case, for the sake of light speed, because the Apocalypse doesn't have this power to go at no light speed. Okay, he has to go through people to get this type of speed. Thor is way beyond a mutant. Okay, he's way beyond that. And in this case, Thor destroys the Apocalypse for the sake of light speed. He'd throw his hammer at him and just literally, basically, he just literally beat him. You know, in Thor's mind, you know, he's literally, it's gonna be kind of hard to get in his mind, you know, so, like, by the time he gets in Thor's mind, Thor being already reacted, you know, and zapped him with the lightning because he didn't want to go through there. without being crushed, and he will fight this guy at light speed. So he would know that Apocalypse is no joke, nothing to play with, so he had to take him out at light speed. In this first battle, Thor slays the Apocalypse. Okay, next battle. Pretty much this ain't nothing to really be talking about. So this guy right here, Surtur, Thor does not beat this guy if he does not pop the helmet off his head, period. So as shown in the movies, Surtur is one of the most powerful demonic entities in the Marvel Universe, okay? And once you put the helmet on Fire of Eternity, it's good. So in this case, nobody beats this guy if you don't take his helmet off. So for the sake of this battle and this brawl, Thor is literally too fast, too powerful, to not be stopped about knocking the helmet off his head. So this battle goes straight to Thor. But if he didn't need that helmet to fight, Thor would be in serious trouble. But we're going to put a pin in that one. Remember this, put a pin in that one. This is another story to take place. So, but in this battle, all Thor has to do is knock the helmet off his head and take it with him and keep it from the Fire of Eternity so that he doesn't come back. So in this battle, Thor wins because he knocks the cap off his head. Okay? I know that's kind of cliche, but yeah, Thor beats this guy by just knocking it off his head and pretty much slaying all the other demons that was around. So in this first matchup, he quickly, not even at light speed, at even the closest speed, he just hurries up and knock it off the head before anything escalates. Okay, so in this case, in this battle, Thor beats Surtur. Spider-Man versus Bane. I don't have much minutes on my phone, got 8% left. Okay, so in this case, Bane versus Spider-Man. So I've already told you in the first video how Bane beats Captain America. In this case, Bane begins fighting in the first match with Spider-Man. And because he's so curious and optimistic about this guy, he lets Spider-Man beat him just so that he can understand and study the way he fights. So in this case, Spider-Man is almost like Batman in similar ways, but because of his spider senses, it'll literally be like Captain America with ninja techniques and Batman strategies mixed up together. So in this case, which basically combines Spider-Man and his spider senses. Spider senses would be Batman. So in this case, well, the mind of Batman. In this case, Bane allows Spider-Man to beat him. Okay? He literally allows Spider-Man to beat him. Okay? So in this big brawl, he gives Spider-Man the win. Okay? So he's gonna study his punches. He's gonna study, and this is Bane without the venom. He's gonna let Spider-Man beat him. Okay? So doing this, he's gonna study his punches, study his movements, study how fast he is, and Bane is gonna begin to train himself. Okay? He's gonna begin to train himself and master his max. Okay? That's what he's gonna do. And in this case, he's gonna observe Spider-Man, Peter Parker, whoever it is. He's gonna observe them. He's gonna watch their movements, what they do on their daily basis, pretty much like he did Batman. This is the common basis. And so once he learned that, so once Bane has understood without the venom, once he has understood Spider-Man's fighting methods, Spider-Man's technique, his spider senses, Bane will literally outdo Spider-Man. The very next fight they get into, he will beat Spider-Man brutally. He will break his back. And in this case, he'll use the venom just to prove how better he is than Spider-Man. Once again, the concept of Bane is to study, right? And to conquer the conquering. Beat the best. And to him, in his eyes, Spider-Man is going to be something totally different to him. So by him fighting him, he's going to throw a couple of blows, and once he figures to see that this guy's different, he's going to let him beat him just so that he can study him and watch him and learn from him. And once he done that with the Venom, he is going to break Spider-Man. But what about the spider senses? How this physical battle is going to go? Well, does that mean Spider-Man won the first match? Yeah, because he gave that match to Spider-Man. Because Bane, once again, will not fight somebody, okay? He's not going to run up and fight somebody, and that's the end of it. You got to consider everything about this guy. So we already have it, how he could beat Captain America. He's going to study him. And let's just say, for the sake of Peter Parker finding out about Bane. Once Peter Parker, Spider-Man, finds out about Bane, what type of guy he is, he's going to be terrified of him. This is one. First of all, fear is going to get into Peter Parker's heart. It doesn't matter where his spider senses tingle at. While he's fighting Bane for the second time, because of fear in his heart, he's going to literally be afraid. He's going to literally be afraid of Bane. And in this case, after Bane watching him, studying him, his techniques, his fighting methods, he's going to use that against him. And the second time they get in a brawl, he's going to beat Spider-Man. He's going to beat Spider-Man. Spider-Man could use his webs on him, or however, because in this case, Bane will use the Venom. And he will break Peter Parker just to prove a point, and perhaps kill him. Literally kill him. And that's really what it is. So in this case, the first match was given to Spider-Man, just so that Bane could understand what type of fighting method he is. And by the second time they really brawl in battle, Bane will break Spider-Man, as he did with Batman. Let's not forget that he is also a good strategic, tactical fighter. So the way he moves, he's not going to use his best fighting methods when he fights Spider-Man for the first time in this battle. He won't use it. He never does. He never uses his best fighting methods because, again, the concept of him, Bane, is that he fights the best and conquers the best. He conquers the conqueror. So you've never fought the best fighter until you fought the best fight. Until you fought the best fight. So he's not going to give Spider-Man the best moves. He's not going to use his best fighting skills until he understands Spider-Man. And in this case, when he understands Spider-Man and his fighting method, he breaks Spider-Man, even with the shield. Because he understands his fighting methods, he understands his tactics. That shield will do him no good. He will literally break Spider-Man. And because Peter Parker has fear about Bane in his heart, and him fighting him will pretty much, distract Peter Parker with his spider senses. And it'll exactly be what Bane wants. Because once Bane understands that he's a human that fights with spider tactics, oh man, it's on. Spider-Man, Bane will literally study the predator of the spider. The predator of the spider. And once he understood this, the very next battle, he will break Spider-Man. So by finding out that Spider-Man basically used tactics of a spider and his own to fight his opponent, Bane will study the opposite of the spider. He will study the predator of that specific spider, the moves and tactics, with what already Bane does. And by the time he knows this, and the next time he gets in the fight with Spider-Man, he will beat him with the shield. Bane is one of DC's greatest predators. Greatest predators when it basically comes to pretty much people below superhuman peak level. Well, actually, people near Captain America and Spider-Man. Aquaman is way stronger than Spider-Man and Captain America put together, but that's another topic. But in this first match, Bane gives this fight just so that he could study Spider-Man. He literally let Spider-Man beat him and possibly surrender to him and act as if he's weak when it's really a diversion, just so that he could study him, because this is his common basis. Once he studied him and understood about him, I mean, it's on. Peter fights him again, Peter loses and possibly dies, which is really sad because Bane is a merciless battle. I mean, really. I mean, but Batman is different. He doesn't fight like a bat. He's different. Okay, so we're gonna also put a pin in that difference in between Spider-Man and Batman. But in this case, in this brawl, the fight is given to Spider-Man, but by the next battle, Bane beats him and dismantles the spider with the predator tactics of that specific spider. So in this case, Bane really beats Spider-Man. Not on the first match, but the second match. Well, okay, let's just give it a hot ball. Spider-Man beats him because he allows him. So by the second match of the brawl, Bane destroys him. Okay, going on to the next fight. I don't have long. I got 5% left, so I'm just gonna have to make this as fast. This is Magik, the Dark Child. I'm not sure about her, but she is one of the greatest majestical wielders beings in the Marvel Universe, and pretty much, you know, at her and this transformation, she's even more powerful. So go back from the beginning. She is full of darkness and she is full of evil. Rather, if she is a hero or not. Like, Trigon is beyond the conception of evil and darkness. And because of that capability, he absorbs the darkness. In this case, he's way OP. So at this level, he basically absorbs all of the power, the darkness, and the evil that is round about her, okay? And literally becomes more than what she is. He basically grows his power. His power is limitless. It's basically immeasurable. Like, he will literally overpower this girl. So in this case, this fight goes straight to Trigon, okay? Because of him draining evil and darkness and literally becoming the power it is. So he way overpowered her and he blitzed her and basically possibly drags her to hell and put her under his feet. So in this case, this first brawl goes straight to Trigon. Trigon stomps this girl without a chance. If you have any comments, leave it in the question. I don't have long. Let's go to the next fight. And possibly lastly, but not least, Brainiac versus Thor. Okay, so we already had Thor being the god of lightning, but we have Brainiac, the most intellectual robot being in the galaxy, in the universe. So, at this case, Brainiac is way too smart for Thor. Brainiac has fought Superman countless times and has matched his strength. Literally, Superman had to think outside the box in order to beat this guy. So in this case, Brainiac can clearly match Thor's ability. Literally, even if he's coming at him at light speed. Literally, Brainiac is just too intellectual for Thor for him to even physically battle with him. Thor's not going to be able to win this battle because of the atomic intellect, because of the intellectualism. Brainiac will understand the movements, he will understand the prowess, he will understand everything about Thor. Literally, he is too smart to even physically be battled with. Like, literally, Brainiac is too smart for Thor. And even if Thor was to use his impressive feat, the strongest feat, to destroy the whole planet with Brainiac in it, or possibly hit him with a planet-sized attack, you know, Brainiac would just evade it, like he always does when it comes to Superman. Even if he was fighting at light speed, Brainiac is too intellectual. Everything that he would throw at him, Brainiac would either evade and counter it, and pretty much lock Thor in one of the strongest shields in the universe. In this case, because of the power of intellect, Thor does not stand a chance against Brainiac. He doesn't. And the reason why Superman, however, does is because, like I said, he has levels of intellectualism, of his power. So if Thor was going to ever think outside the box, he's going to have to get help. There's no way on earth Thor will fight Brainiac by himself. No, he's not going to win. Because it literally takes more than just physical strength to take down Brainiac. Like, the only person who stand a chance is possibly Bizarro in this case. But that's another point. So in this fight, in this battle, this fight literally goes to Brainiac. Because Thor does not stand a chance. I mean, he's too smart. He is literally too smart. Brainiac is way more smarter than Ultron. Like, Brainiac is beyond the idea of, you know, what intellect actually is. And because he's so smart, Brainiac literally picks what he wants out of his own intellectualism. He doesn't even need, I mean, like, wow, this guy's too smart for Thor. Like, Thor's gonna need more than just 1 + 1 = 2 in this battle. He's gonna need to get an entire, he's probably gonna have to get the whole MCU to take down Brainiac. But alone, it's not gonna work. Brainiac is too smart. He surpassed Thor in his intellect. As far as his physical strength goes, let's say he's universal. That isn't a problem to Brainiac, because he said, hey, you match me in strength, or you possibly overpower me in strength, but you do not match my intellect. But in this case, Brainiac is too powerful, too intellectual for Thor to even fight him. Thor can just throw an axe in his head, he'll evade each and every one of them. Like, Brainiac is beyond minds, beyond minds. So in this first battle, this battle goes straight to Brainiac. So, if you guys have any questions, comments, it's the end of the battle. Whatever I missed on, I will touch up on, and just leave it below. This is Mystery Valuable. Oh, and I'm just gonna also add that, yeah, Thor is, like, he can't take on Brainiac because he's too smart. So, leave your comments below. Peace, guys.